underscores the pivotal role that cybersecurity plays in shaping the future of business management. As organizations embrace digital transformation and adopt cutting-edge technologies, they must also fortify their defenses against cyber threats. Failure to do so can have
और
far-reaching
कैमरा कहाँ भगा दिया?
consequences, jeopardizing not only the integrity of data but also the stability of entire industries. This session serves as a platform for cybersecurity experts to exchange and share insights on the evolving landscape and strategies to navigate the future of business management. Thank you.
This is a video about. Can you have the audio? Is it possible to have a speaker?
उससे चलेगी ना उसको
Okay, nonetheless, so this one. It's okay. It's not, no? Okay, so basically, what's happening here is that there's a video of a person, of a girl, and we all have family members.
उसका स्पीकर उनको मुझे लैपटॉप का स्पीकर हेलो हेलो like a speaker Microsoft
How do you overcome this? Uh, Ransomware, I'll not really go into how it runs, but typically it comes through the biggest vector of ransomware affecting your systems is through an email, and then it basically comes in, and then it first thing it will do is disable the alerts, escalate itself, get more admin privileges. It will manipulate, move laterally, increase the foothold that it has in your network, and exfiltrate data. Change the firewall rules, exfiltrate data, encrypt your data, and then ask for Bitcoin. As somebody was saying earlier today, that they'll also ask for Bitcoin. But they've already taken out the data of the organization. And they'll use the exfiltrated data to sell it in the dark web. So they make money from you, they make money from the dark web. Right? So it's a real threat. It's an endemic, as they are calling it. The biggest vector is email, and the reason being the barrier to enter and release ransomware has never been so low. Now, the good part is what is mentioned below. The why is it happening and why is the ransomware really becoming so relevant today is because we are not getting better. It's a simple thing of patching our systems. If you patch your systems, a simple updates can save you against such a threat. So, in most of the cases. AI can also be used for protection. I covered that. Deepfake, like I was saying, regulations and awareness is very, very important. The European Union has recently come up with an AI law which makes it mandatory for anyone who generates an AI-based image or video to watermark it with that. So that is the way to go ahead. cloud. Now, if you're starting your company or whether you're going into a big company, you cannot escape clouds today because of the advantages they offer in terms of scalability and that the fact that somebody else is looking at IT and providing you the IT services. But the threat is that their cloud-related incidents are rising. 72% of the there's an increase in the clouds. And again, the biggest reason why cloud attacks are happening are because the credentials are being leaked. The point I was telling earlier. Now, since you're talking of this very briefly, I'll cover just one or two slides more about when you talk about Industrial Revolution 5.0, which you all probably understand better than me. The cyber physical systems become very, very important. And if you just look at the first line that I've written, it will tell you the impact which this can have. So this is a statement which one of the persons who were working in a refinery in US made. He said that yes, we boil flammable liquid under pressure. When the valve needs to open, it needs to open right then. You would understand if it doesn't open right then, you will turn the entire refinery into a fireball. Right? So the point I'm trying to say is that when you integrate OT and IT together and you start working with cyber physical systems, that's where the kinetic impact of cyber attacks can happen. You can bring down motors, you can change the water filtration plant levels, you can open up, you can affect the dams, you can there's a whole lot of this. So what you got to do overall is that build the right teams in your companies or whatever, which have got a right mix of people who understand IT as well as OT, and not kind of give a priority to the IT or OT or OT to the priority. Because if you look at the most biggest example of WannaCry which happened, what happened there was everybody was protecting IT, was basically protecting their OT, their manufacturing plant. They're saying, let not virus come from my networks into my operational plant, manufacturing plant and affect it. That's what the focus was. But what really happened? One of the contractors got a laptop, like we all are getting ours, plugged it into the manufacturing plant, and it was infected. So from the OT, from the manufacturing plant, it went on to affect the entire IT or the network or the system. 2.5 million users got infected, $4 billion of loss. So you have to prioritize both. It's not IT versus OT. That's all I can talk right now. And lastly, how do we mitigate all these threats and all this? So there's a very structured approach to this. You have a lot of, somebody was mentioning NIST framework 2.0 that has been released there. I'll briefly show that to you. So basically, firstly, if you start on the company, the governance has to be there. You got to have governance, and you have to have cybersecurity professionals and people with those designated roles which look at those tasks. It's no more a task which you can just do along with the other tasks. So you have to have a governance structure in place, regulatory compliance. For that, you need to understand. So if you are dealing with a European Union client, you need to understand the GDPR. Which is applicable there. You need to now understand the AI law which has been made by them. So that's very important. You have to do a risk assessment of your operations, understand the risk, and build strategies that target those risks. Not just take on anything which is available. So somebody comes and say, "I got a very good IT security solution." Just don't take it on because you may not have that as a vulnerability. You might be addressing the wrong issues. Awareness training and of course collaborating through conferences like this. Lastly, I just wanted to show you the NIST CSR, the Cybersecurity Framework 2.0. Somebody also mentioned it earlier. So it's a very structured approach, it's a topic in itself. But yes, it tells you that when you want to protect your systems, you build on these controls. You have controls to identify threats, protect threats, detect them, understand what those threats are, respond to them, and be able to recover from them. So this is all that I have to initiate the cybersecurity steps. If there's anything that anyone would want to ask, I will please to answer.
फोटो दिखाओ so can we have mic the question is that why government is not seizing such kind of applications available for deepfake.
Ma'am, the point is that that's a very big question to ask, but I'll tell you from a personal example.
Yes.
We have had cases where we have launched applications which are very army specific or defense specific, and people have come up with fakes which are malicious in nature and they're hosted on servers which are outside the boundaries of India. You can do anything about it. So somebody builds an application you're hosting on a server which is outside because the government's got its mandate uh, within this. Then it becomes a government to government channel. It's very difficult to bring down those sites and those applications. They replicate very fast. So it should be hosted on 100 servers. So I believe it's not that government is doing. There's a list of about 90 odd applications which government has banned and continuously keeps revising those applications. But still, those applications find their ways on the phones of people in India. Because it's very difficult for the government to be able to restrict it. It's the issue with it's a very unregulated wild domain, cybersecurity. That's what I can answer. Maybe you are.
One of the challenges also.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you so much, Karan Vivek, for such a great session, and thank you for inviting us, sir. My question is, like a normal human being, we all are the user of social media, and we keep posting the picture of ours and our children. And after seeing this video, I feel that what steps or what can we do to like after seeing this video, it's very very disturbing for us. That what can we do next to avoid such situations, and how can we proceed further?
It's quite. I believe I'm not a very big social media fan. I believe one's got to restrict himself in uploading photographs because if it's there on the social media site, even if you say good morning and upload it, that one voice sample can be picked up, put through a generative kind of a engine to see the kind of impact that voice gets and the child calls up. So the point is that we've got to be very, very pardon me for this. This is the kind of thing that we tell in the army. Do not go where you don't want to go.
No,
So do not
actually we
go
have
photographs.
gone. Actually, we have gone. Now, what can we do next?
So the side of control over it, somebody has better answers than me, they'll be able to tell, but there is no cyber security related technical solutions today. The point is there in the open, and then the ACP was there.
The
And
best
he
thing
told
is
me
to
that
deactivate, I suppose.
yes. No, not deactivate, not deactivate. We will capable of mindful of what we post on the think that what's there is there with the hand of cyber criminal. What can you do? So it will actually exercise caution while you are uploading stuff on the.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. You have given such beautiful and wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your unparalleled insight on cybersecurity. Your wisdom and expertise illuminated the room like a beacon of knowledge. Sir has very well highlighted about the impact of cybersecurity in today's business operation, relevance of AI, and subsequent protection methods. Thank you once again, sir.
Moving ahead, moving ahead to the session, may I now take a moment to introduce our eminent speaker, Mr. Shubham Garg. Sir is a cybersecurity strategist having experience of more than 7 years in the field of cybersecurity. Over the past 6 years, Sir has trained over 25,000 students as cybersecurity professionals, including college computer science professors and top cyber lawyers in India. He has been a key figure in the Faculty Development Program (FDP) by Skill India, a government initiative, and has contributed significantly to the design of cybersecurity courses at prestigious institutions such as Indian Institute of Technology, Purdue University in the US, and the International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore. Sir is a prominent member of the National Information System Security Council (NICS) in India and serves on the steering committee. He is also recognized internationally, serving as jury member and scientific member at the International Association of Scientists and Research (IASR). Additionally, Sir has been invited as a guest of honor at the annual fest by Delhi University and has delivered guest lectures for various programs at IIT. Sir, please.
I guess just give me 2 minutes and.
Second, second.
All right. Meanwhile, my presentation is getting fixed. I guess, uh, like, how many of you are aware about cybersecurity in real? Like, what kind of things you know about cybersecurity? Like, are we faced any kind of cyber threat in personal life? How many of you have faced that? Any kind of scam or maybe any kind of approach that hacker does to you or anything? I guess almost everyone will be on that, right? So I will be talking more about the foundational things in cybersecurity that we all can match up to our personal lives. That what we face in our everyday life. I will talk about that, right? Just in a minute.
फिर इसने वैसे कर दिया
All right. All right. So I will be like my introduction has already been done, so I'll skip initial 2 slides over here. Right. So I will be talking about the foundational things in cybersecurity, right? Because I know that people sitting here are are from the non-technical background, so they will more relate things which is in a common language or coming from the basics of cybersecurity. And also, before getting into the foundation, I believe that one of the quote out there that is the more good you become at basics, the more advanced you will become in that particular topic, right? I hope everyone will agree on that as well. So before getting into the technical details of this particular session, what we have seen in the industry after COVID, that cybersecurity has taken place at exponential growth, right? Like if you compare the time before 2020 and if you compare the time that we have after COVID, right? Everyone know that cybersecurity is becoming a buzzword, or you can say is becoming more populated, and people are relating more to it, right? So COVID-19 has provided a lot of boost to this particular industry. And in both terms, like in the term of affecting you directly, because cyber criminals are keeping it more, like getting more targets online because of COVID-19, because of our work from home situation. We all are, maybe some of you have seen that you are attending your classes and sessions online on the Zoom call and all the other. So things have become more online after COVID. Like before COVID, it was there, but it was not that much that is right now over here. So COVID-19 affected the cybersecurity as well in a good manner, I would say, in a good manner because it also increased the opportunities in this particular domain. Because I guess this is the only domain right here which has the exponential growth in terms of jobs and other career options, right? All the other things you might be hearing nearby you that people are losing their jobs, people are facing difficulty to place in a new job. Every other domain was facing that kind of a problem, right? But COVID-19 gave a boost to cybersecurity, and still we have a shortage of people in this particular domain, right? So over there, just a bit of a talk around how cybersecurity is important and how it is affecting everyone out there. Because whenever you talk about any of the domain out there, like if you talk about finance, then finance people may be dealing in their particular sector. Right? If you talk about a kind of engineer, then that person is also contributing to the specific category of the audience out there. They have very specific channels. But if you talk about cybersecurity, then cybersecurity is one of the domain out there which affects every other domain which is existing right now because everyone is using technology, right? So if I ask you a question, that we have a technology out there, we have our healthcare out there, which are one of the biggest industries out there in the market globally. So if there is a laptop company who is a manufacturer of a laptop and that company sells you any kind of a laptop out there, like top notch with all the graphic card in it and all the high-end processor and all the other, and saying to you that we are not investing much into the cybersecurity. We are developing a good product, we are having a good product which performs well, but we don't care about cybersecurity, we don't invest in that particular sector. Would you buy that kind of a laptop or a mobile phone? Right? So just because of one particular thing, you will avoid using any kind of top technology out there. Also, if we take an example of a healthcare, then in healthcare, anyone can answer that how security is affecting healthcare. Looks like they are both on the different pages, but still would like to know any of the input if there is that how healthcare is getting impacted by cybersecurity.
The health data of individual is the individuality, and if that data comes into the cyberspace, everyone is put at vulnerability.
Right, right. So healthcare data is really important, and if anyone know about your health data, whatever data is associated with your identity, that person can do a lot of things to you. What he can do, we will discover that once we move forward. Another thing is that a very interesting case scenario is there. A few years back, more than 5, 6 years back, how many of you are aware about pacemaker? I guess everyone, right? So pacemaker, I can say that it is an artificial heart. Whoever faces the heart failure, then that person get a pacemaker and that produce the heartbeat artificially, right? So there was one of the hacker out there, and that hacker like had one of the vulnerability in that pacemaker. That hacker can stop that particular pacemaker from few hundred meters just by transmitting some of the frequency. Right. So this is how it is important in healthcare as well, because nowadays we are having robotic surgeries. So you can imagine that then when healthcare is being taken care by the technology, then if technology does not have the security embedded into it, then how badly it can be impacted. Right. So every device has to be secure enough before using into the healthcare industry or whatever implants you use in this particular domain. Right. Another thing, I guess I do not have to explain the finance investment. Everyone is using Google Pay, Paytm, and whatever. So everyone has, I guess, 95% of the money in their bank accounts, and you are handling those things online. So this is how big cybersecurity is. That it is serving out every industry out there, and if cybersecurity is not there, then you will not believe any of these industries. Right? This is the structure of it. So um, we are talking about all the attacks. There is ransomware attack. There are thousand type of attacks out there, right? So I guess in 20 minutes or 30 minutes we cannot talk about those kind of attacks out there. So I will be taking the foundational of it. That behind every attack there must be something that is making it successful, right? Because I do work in the offensive side of security offensive means I believe where how attacker is working, how the attacker mindset is working, and how the ransomware and malware is actually getting affecting the organizations. So, what make every other threat successful in the business, in the individuality, or to everyone personal life, right? I will talk about that. So, social engineering, I guess you are hearing this particular keyword third time in this particular conference. So, social engineering is one of the major key elements in the cybersecurity, which makes it possible that every other attack which is happening out there, whether it is malware, whether it is phishing, or whether it is whatever, so it is. This is the back end of it. If social engineering is not there, then that attack will not be successful, right? Anyone knows what social engineering is? Like we are repeatedly use that particular keyword, but anyone knows that? Like what does it mean and what it is actually? How many of you know that? No one. Okay. So social engineering is basically psychologically manipulating people into doing something, right? So it is more like a human hacking, you can say, not on the biohacking side, but more of a human hacking side. That attackers are so much smart nowadays that they will deal with your devices later on. Before that, they will try to understand you. They will try to understand you. They will try to get to know about you. They will try to get to know that what is your favorite thing, what things you dislike, what kind of online presence you do have, right? They will try to get to know about you, and then they will try to craft a few of the attacks that will be perfectly in a match with you, right? So social engineering is that kind of a technique where attacker try to psychologically manipulate you in doing something for whatever that attacker wants to perform, right? So sometimes we think that okay, we are smart enough that we will not get into these kind of scams, we will not get into these kind of phishing emails because we know that how to recognize these kind of things, right? So we have some of these samples or examples, you can say. The very first step of the attacker in social engineering is the OSET, which is open source intelligence, right? We are already discussing about that. That whatever your online presence is, right? So that online presence affects you the most, and the attacker will be using that online presence for crafting the attack vector against you. Right? Most of the attack vectors, 99% of the attack vectors are coming from your personal information because they are crafted for you by collecting information about you from the online sources or any of the publicly available sources. Right. So OSINT is the technique behind it that attacker will be collecting all of your data online and then try to portray that data into the intelligence context, and then it will try to again to craft a very tailored attack vector against you. Right. Like again, one of the thing I guess someone was asking a question that how do we remove these kind of things from the online world, right? So I guess the question can be answered in a way that like most of the things are getting evolved with the time, right? So rather than finding a way that like can be delete our social media account, can be more less exposed to the social media, rather than uploading your pictures, videos, or anything else online, we have to be aware that these kind of things are getting into the market. Deepfakes are becoming one of the major, you can say, threat and also a good thing into the market as well. So we have to be aware and we have to make everyone aware that this is a new technology and we have to adapt that technology. That okay, if there is something that can be fake and that can be misleading or that can be like not real, right? We have to be aware. We have to be evolved with that technology that things can be in that direction too, right? I guess that kind of understanding will help us to deal with these kind of things. Because there is no possible way that if you upload some of the picture of you online, you can never delete that. If you even delete that, there are like hundred of ways that attacker will figure out a way around you. Like even if you if I take a picture of you right here, right, I can search each and every face and I can get to your social media. Just as simple as that, right? So that is the thing. So attacker first step, again collecting information about you. That data can be anything. I just take one example of it because of the time. That if you are not uploading anything online, let's say picture or videos, then maybe you are commenting on someone's, your friend or family post. Like everyone do comments, right? So if I get a if I get to know that how you do the comment on what kind of pictures, I will collect all of your comments, and you all will agree on that everyone has a unique typing style. How many of you agree that everyone has a unique typing style? Like if you are talking to your loved ones, then you will recognize this by a typing style. Is it true? Right? Like if I hijack your phone and I will start texting your close ones, then that person at some point recognize that this is not you. Right? So I can read your comment, I can train my model on that, and I can replicate your typing style. This is one of the things, right? And if attacker can type in your style, attacker can do a lot of things further taking from that. Because attacker can clone your identity in that way, right? So this is how attacker will be collecting all of your information, comment length, and another thing is that attacker will be using this information into the intelligent context, not as our regular people out there, right? Because if I say that please collect the comments, you will just collect it. Attacker will convert that comment and make a model that will talk in your language, right? So that is the hackers methodology out there. Another thing, again, I mentioned that we all think we are smart enough that we will recognize these kind of fake emails, messages, and all of that. But look at this particular case scenario. I guess most of you have seen that as well. This is from 2020 when COVID just started. And how many of you have seen this? That on Twitter there was a trend that you send me some of the bitcoins out there, and I double that and send back to you. And that tweet was posted by everyone. Everyone means Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Everyone posted that. Like I guess people are aware of that. If not, then here are the screenshots. So how is it possible that these people are posting this kind of thing online and they are trying to scam people? So what happened back in the back end of this story? That there was one 19-year boy from Florida, and that person just called one of the Twitter employee out there and just asked him to transfer his call to one of the management department, right? And then to the management department, that person sent one of the email as simple as that, and that email has a malware inside it. And that person, he manipulated that person to click on that, right? Just two things are working here in this particular scenario. One is that that person had the right information to whom to reach, that who have that kind of authority in the Twitter. That comes from OSINT. And how he manipulated that person to click on the link and to transfer the call to the admin department? Social engineering. Spoofing the number and then gaining the trust, knowing the right details. So just by having these two things, 19-year boy can compromise the whole Twitter. And that Twitter administrator was compromised, and he has the hold on the Twitter, the entire Twitter and every account. So you can imagine that how dangerously these kind of things actually work, right? So if Twitter can compromise, then we still have the vulnerable chances out there. Right, so this was the story. I'll give you the slide so you can read it out further. Another thing I was mentioning that if I take a picture, which college is obviously going to do, that college will be posting the conference picture online. So even though you are not having your social account on the on the social media on the internet, then these pictures will help me to scan your faces and then eventually get into your identity, right? And your identity is not only about your social media, right? Your existence is already online. Your Aadhaar card is online. Your PAN card is online. Your driving license is online. And a lot of college must be having your database online, right? So everything is there. So you cannot avoid things just by taking your account off of the social media. There are 100 of other things, right? So this is a very simple website again, that one of the model out there, that if I just upload your picture right there, then this website will scan the internet and give me the similar faces out there. So I uploaded my picture and I got all of my social media accounts, right? So if I just upload your picture, just a face, and it can be blurry face as well, and it will give me your all of your social media accounts out there, right? And here I will start my further investigation on you to know you better, that what I can do further to replicate your identity, right? So attacker will try to again clone your identity to get to know about you and to collect all of your other things. Now there are n number of things which I guess maybe we will talk about those things some other day. So it will try to become new online, and then further it will try to replicate everything out there. Another thing, I guess sir already mentioned about this particular case, which is that one of the firm has faced this particular case, that CFO received a meeting, and in that meeting everyone was a deepfake image, and then that person was manipulated into doing $25 million transaction. And again, if you look at the foundational basics of this, then in the backend of it, social engineering was there. Because this is a psychological manipulation. If psychological manipulation is not there, then people will not be trusting you in that way, right? And deepfake is so easily accessible nowadays that I can train you in 20 minutes that how to create a deepfake video. It is that easy, even if you are not not coming from a deepfake background, right? So this is another one, that some deepfake of IPS recently doing a video call to extort money from the people out there. Right. Another thing, taking to the phishing. How many of you know that what is phishing? Just raise hand. If you know what is phishing, just let me know. I guess most of you know that, right? How to recognize phishing? Just some of the pointers from the audience. How do you, like, phishing is a very old attack. It is not a new attack, but it is still one of the most populated attack out there, right? So you must know that how to recognize it. How do you, what kind of steps you take to recognize it? Just want to have some inputs. I think so. We have mic.
On IP address.
According to me, if we get an OTP for something where you have not asked for an OTP, then I would recognize that as a phishing attack and I would log out from my other devices.
Okay, got it. Like you are talking about smishing more of a time, that you receive some fake text and you replicate it. Yeah. Any other, like if I give you a fake page of a Facebook, then how would you recognize that? That it is a fake one and it is a real one. Okay, so most of the time I get this answer, which is HTTPS, but every website on the internet is HTTPS. Even the phishing pages, whatever page, 100% pages I would say now becoming HTTPS. It is free on internet, everyone can get that certificate. Any other pointer? So might be possible that the link is real as well. Like how would you recognize that link is fake?
Sir, basically they always ask for like to open the page, click on the
उसका साउंड ही नहीं है वॉल्यूम पे जाएगा
put your details.
Got it. I can hear that. So that you will be receiving some of the links, right? So most of the time I receive 2-3 answers. One is the most common one, that is HTTPS. We have to see that green lock sign. That does not work in this scenario, right? You like that is an old story. You don't have to take that further. Everyone can get that HTTPS. Second is most of the common answer is that we have to look at the URL. Facebook.com having a Facebook.com, but the fake one will be having something else, like maybe Facebook.com or FacebookPage.com or something else, like not the Facebook.com. This is the most another common answer I get, right? But this is also the old answer nowadays that people are not talking about. Today, phishing is so advanced that it can be facebook.com with HTTPS and it can serve you this exact same page out there. Right? So by visually looking at the page, you cannot recognize, I would say, like you will never be able to recognize that it is a phishing page. Right? Maybe if I am giving this talk a year back, then I will also say that, okay, you can see at the URL what it is written. But nowadays, we cannot recognize phishing from just looking at it. The only solution is that you have to type the URL yourself and then get on the website. The only solution is that. By visual or by URL, by HTTP, we cannot recognize that. Maybe this is visible or not, but this is something which is known as the browser phishing. Right? This is one of the major threat that is going on right now. That on the authentic website, generally what you have, you click on the login button and you had a pop-up. And that pop-up asks you to log into your Gmail and Facebook to log into that website. How many of you use that? Everyone, I guess. Because of ease, right? We click with sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook, and we take it to the pop-up and we allow it there, and then we are signed in, right? So this is the example of that these kind of pop-up are becoming the major trend in the phishing domain. Because this pop-up is virtually generated and you cannot see any difference between the real pop-up and the fake pop-up, right? So these pop-up is something that you should avoid. One thing that you can always check before entering the detail into the pop-up, you have to drag that pop-up out of the window, out of the browser window that is there, right? Usually, I guess we never check that. So if that pop-up is going out of the window, that's okay. If it is not getting out of the window, then it is a phishing, right? So this is also one of the things that you should practice in your daily life. So phishing emails, I guess everyone knows how original it looks like. Even in the end of it, very authentically it says that if you think you are getting phished, then please contact us and report it. The phishing email is itself saying that, right? So you have to be careful in that sense as well. And again, in phishing email, I got the answer that we have to check that from which email ID it is coming from. Again, I would say we have the phishing techniques which we use in our red teaming projects that we can replicate exact email. If it says at sbi.com, then we can replicate that as well with no change in spelling. So you have to be careful about that as well. If you are receiving the email from the original email ID, then also you have to type that URL or confirm with the person that okay whether this is original or not, right? So that is another. And in the end of it, I guess there are a lot of hacking devices, right? If this is a workshop, then I would have shown you these devices, that how these devices actually work. So these devices are basically hacking devices which we use in our everyday life. That looks like a regular devices. Like you have a pen drive right in the center of it. So usually what we do in our red teaming practices, that we are going to the organization. If I drop some of the pen drive at one of the seats right here, and I write some interesting data on it, you could plug it in, right? So these are those kind of pen drive which we drop it as a payload, and that will be working with us. That will give you the access of your laptop and computer in a second, and it will work as a regular pen drive of your system. Similarly, we have a lot of charging stations. So there are exit cables in the market, which is known as an OMG cable, and those cables can get access of your phone and laptop within seconds as soon as you plug it in your phone, right? So I have seen people who are charging their phone from the public charging stations, right? Like in Connaught Place, we have a lot of them. At metro stations, we have a lot of them. So as soon as you plug in a cable into it, that cable which is in the slide out there, your device will lose the access, right? So anyway. Now, I will take you to the next part of for this particular talk. Just to make it more foundational, to make you aware that how these attacks are originated and affecting everyone, and then you can lose account access by following some of the common practices that we use in our everyday life, right? So the story is, I guess we have some questions.
You know, most of the solutions are reactive. When the fraud is done, then I act. Is there any proactive solution that I do on the Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram Because I have kept it private and still it gets, my friends call me that you're asking for money and then I realize that the fake post has been created. These are all reactive. I come to know and then I act. What is the proactive solution that I do it right in the beginning and I am protected?
Okay, so again, interesting question that what we can do on the early stage that can protect us from these kind of things. I will broadly say that there is nothing we can do. Like there is nothing. If someone is telling you you can do that or that, at one point of time that will not work. Right. So we cannot do anything in that case. The only solution is the awareness. The more aware we are, the more aware the people in surrounding of you, only then you can protect yourself from these kind of things. So people who are believing that they have received message from some of the original profile, they have to be aware of these kind of things. Only trainings and awareness can help in this particular manner. Right. So I will be getting into this story. Very interesting story. This is an old story again. Maybe you have heard it before or not. But this story has a very good lesson into it. Right. I will talk about that and you will also be able to relate to it. But the thing is, you have to focus on the slide for this story because if you miss one of the things, the whole story will not make sense. Right. So I will talk about that person, which is Matt Honan, and he's one of the chief editor into Wired.com. Wired.com is one of the international media house, one of the biggest media house out there, and he is the chief editor of that company. Right. So what happened to him? His Twitter, Gmail, Apple account, and every other account got hacked by the hacker in just 30 minutes, right? And how does it happen? I'll talk about that. So that will give a lesson that what kind of practices we should follow and what kind of things we have to take care. Okay? So his Gmail, he loses the account, the Gmail account and the other account associated with that. I'll just follow a quick story on that. That one of the things, when you click on forget password of the Gmail, what happens? We have two things, right? We have the security questions. Again, I'm talking about this story 4-5 years back. So OTP were not existing at that point, right? So from that perspective, we have the security questions. We have the backup email. If you answer the security question right, then a reset link will be sent to your backup email, right? This happens when you click on forget password. Hacker does the same. Hacker click on the forget password and then go to the security question. Security question was something like that: what was the date of birth and what was the mailing address? Both of the information is easily available on the public internet. Then that person gives that both answer. The password reset link of the Gmail goes to the another backup email, which is the apple.com email, right? Which is me.com, right? Now hacker goes to that me.com account, to the me.com website, and again to the password reset. Now when you reset the account on the apple.com and on the iCloud.com, you get two questions again. One is your mailing address, attacker already has it. Another one is your last 4 digits of your credit card, right? Because Apple always asks you to attach your credit card to your account. So last 4 digits of the credit card, and hacker does not have information on that because that is a private information. So what hacker do? Hacker goes on the another site. He goes to the Amazon. This is the other part of the story. That attacker goes to the Amazon. Amazon has two kind of shopping experiences, right? One is you have to log in. Another one is you can do the instant shopping without login, right? So attacker take the advantage of the instant shopping out there. What attacker does, attacker do the shopping, attacker purchase any of the pencil out there, and then enter the details. What detail will be required for instant shopping? Name of the customer, then the email of the customer, and the credit or debit card number from which that person is doing the transaction, and then the mailing address and the contact number. This is enough information for making any of the online transaction, right? So Amazon has one of the very great feature that if you are doing shopping in instant, so I'm providing my credit card number and the email as well. So Amazon will be associating that particular credit card number which I am using to my email address for further future convenience, right? So when I log in at that email further, then I should have my credit card already saved into it. And I guess everyone know that in Amazon we have a lot of card already saved, right? So that same happens with here, like with the Matt Hennon here. That email of the Matt Hennon got associated with the credit card of the attacker. Attacker entered his own credit card number for doing the shopping, but the email of Matt Hennon over there. So these both information got linked between like with each other. Then after that, what happens? Then attacker goes back to the same method, go on the Amazon, reset the password. And when you reset the password of Amazon back then two things are required: your email and one of the associated credit card. Right? I hope you can connect the dots. That attacker already associated his credit card to his email, and attacker has that both of the information, which is the email and the credit card. Right? So attacker able to get into the Amazon account, and again there is no worry in that because in Amazon account you do not have anything sensitive. You just have the saved credit card numbers over there. Attacker pick up the credit card number, one of the Matt Hennon's credit card number, and give that credit card number to the Apple iCloud.com. That was the only missing piece. And he reset the Apple account. He got the Gmail account link over there, reset the Gmail account, then reset all the social media accounts out there because all the social media account does what? You forget it, they send you a reset link to your email. And all the emails were coming to Gmail and the iCloud. So he reset the entire life cycle of that person over there in 30 minutes. Right? So the thing is that sometimes we think that things are secure enough, but what other things can affect your other security, that can be a very challenging thing out there. So you have to be careful about that. I hope the story is clear, right?
Yes.
So this will be the last thing. In the end of it, the thing is that the only solution is to get aware. Because I would not say that you have to take that kind of security precautions. You have to like I'm also one of the I guess youngest member in the panel. So I know that our existence on the social media cannot be completely holded, right? We cannot pause that. We have to be exposed ourselves. We have to upload things out there. So we have to be just aware of it, that what can happen with that, and we have to accept and evolve with the cyber trend as well, right? So that will be my thing. Thank you. If we have any questions, then
Please help with the mic.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for an eye-opener session, and thank you, sir, for inviting us over here. Thank you, sir, for your session as well. I'm not that much into the technology part as I'm into design field. But as you all already have mentioned that it plays AI and cybersecurity plays an important role in media. So, since you all would be aware that nowadays graphic designers and these designers as well, they keep on using the AI tool for generating the posters or logos or putting up any other aspect or using a Canva, which each and every student would have been using up. So, there on also our data is getting stored on the cloud. So, as you mentioned that we have to be aware about these things. But how can we protect and this internet is also taking away our privacy? Because if you search anything on internet, just after fractions of seconds, you will find it popping up on your phone as well. So, what suggestions you would suggest in order to protect our data from there, not just the photo and visuals, but a research data that each and every academician would also have been inquiring on ChatGPT or AI. So, this is in fact also getting stored up in the cloud, where it can be utilized further on as well by the hackers in some other way. So how these photographs put it, like that we put on Canva or we put it on graphic or generate posters and then later on seek for trademarks. So how can we protect just with the awareness aspect? That's my question.
So when I say that we only have the awareness as a solution, I also mean from that statement that as we are evolving, we are adapting to the technology, right? So we have to adapt this as well, that if we are putting something, then there can be some bad results out of that as well. If deepfakes are there, then we have to accept that okay, deepfakes can be generated from the image, and that's how technology is getting involved, right? So we have to build that kind of acceptance into us. That okay, if things are getting to that point, then we have to we have to aware, we have to make it common that okay, fake things can be there and original also exists on the other side. So I will take on that only. Because again, if you are uploading something, then it will expose at some point of the event out there in the future. Again, I guess I can discuss further few story offline, like off the stage. But there are things that people are putting all their efforts into protecting the data, but due to some zero day, due to some new attack vector, things got exploited and they got into the market as a data breach. So you cannot stop data breach, you cannot stop your digital identity to get over the bad hands, you cannot do that. One of the thought, one of the things written out here, that ability is what you are capable of doing, and motivation determines what you do, and attitude determines how well you do it, right? So I would say that this is the exact thing that every attacker has it already. Attacker is already following this statement and he masters on that. So no one can stop the bad guy from doing bad things out there. So we only have to get known, like aware of it.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. First of all, a very eye-opening session, sir, by you and my sir as well. My question to you, sir, is as you mentioned that there has been some psychological factors which related with social engineering. Can you name any particular thing related to those factors?
If I mention psychological thing, then I mean everything. There are people who get affected by certain things. Maybe some people have greed in them. Some people have helpfulness. Like if I ask for some help, they will ready to help me, right? Some people have emotional attachment. Some people have easy to vulnerable from fear traits. So these are the common human traits which exploited by the attacker. So human psychology means whatever we are existing and what kind of nature we have. You must be having some nature like you are more helpful rather than greedy. So you will be exploited by the attacker in that manner. So he will try to exploit that helpfulness psychological trait. So, any other question?
Thank you, sir. The depth and breadth of your insights were nothing short of extraordinary, painting a vivid picture of the ever-evolving landscape of cyber threats. So, started with discussing about how COVID-19 led to rise in cybersecurity jobs, how hackers collect personal data, and how one can prevent their data by using tools.
Now, I take this moment to request Air Commodore Dr. Jayant Kumar Sahu, Director AIMG, to kindly felicitate our eminent speakers for the sessions, starting with session chair, Colonel Vivek Sharma, sir. And our cyber security expert, Mr. Shubham Gautam, sir.
I would now request Dr. Karuni ma'am to please extend a formal vote of thanks. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, on behalf of AIMG family, I would like to extend our gratitude and our thanks to Colonel Vivek Sharma, sir, for such a fascinating and very captivating session on cybersecurity topics. So, thank you very much. Next, I would like to place on record a big thanks to Mr. Shubham Gautam, and I hope my students have taken note of all the precautions
which he has highlighted during the sessions by leading with the cyber presence. So on this note, I would like to thanks to everyone. Thank you, and have a great session ahead. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would request all the dignitaries to kindly proceed for the lunch and assemble back again for post-lunch workshop on cybersecurity in 40 minutes. At 2:50.
लाइव खत्म करो
एस्कॉर्ट्स किधर है बबीता मैम एस्कॉर्ट्स किधर है बबीता मैम तेरा भी एस्कॉर्ट स्टूडेंट
इंड कर दिया तो
Everyone be back by 2:50.
कहाँ से लगा हाँ